What we were saying is that courtship is about human sacrifice. Dating and courtship is about being something you're not, and also showing that you're a good financial instrument. You're a good worker. You have money and power in the world. You're a good financial instrument. You're a good soul, right? Consuming and being consumed. A good cannibal, right? And so that's what dating's about. So when women date, their breasts are a big part of this, right? Because every man they're dating has been denied their mother's milk in some way. And they know that men want to feast like cannibals upon their tits. And so they offer them their chests. They offer them their tits. They wear things that expose their breasts and their nipples in the most flattering way, right? And they'll do that, sexual predators, and then sometimes they'll reach and they'll close their cardigan. They'll open their brits and then they'll close the curtains. If you want to see the second act, you're gonna have to see me like a real person. I've got a mind, but here's my tits. But oh, I've got a mind. Here's my tits. Oh, but listen to what I'm saying. Oh, here's my tits. It's like a peep show, right? Crossing and uncrossing their legs, showing different parts of their bodies, right? Now, granted, women are basically taught as children that this is how to behave. This is part of the personality complex, which is part of a cult. So no one's really responsible for their personality complexes because they're financial instruments that develop like parasites in trapped, oppressive prisons for children called schools. Right? So you can't really hold them morally responsible for the demonic way that they start using their body language. And the fact that you respond to it hardly makes you innocent, right? So tits, ass, right? Tits and ass. Walking away to go to the bathroom, the guy's supposed to look at your asshole, supposed to look at your ass cheeks. And this is supposed to, like, again, arouse your appetite for eating her flesh, right? Look, she's got lots of flesh you can grab onto and eat out her pussy, right? She's got there for something for you to eat. It's not on the menu at the restaurant, but when you go home, something special for you to lick her from crevice to crack. Quite frankly, even as I say this, I find it kind of disgusting. I don't want to touch a woman's area with my mouth. Do you have any idea what they do down there? It's the most vile part of a woman's body. So it's not a recreational area, you know? I want something like coitus to happen with my wife while she's like, doing some flower arranging while she's sitting in my lap, and she suddenly just sits back, and then I come inside of her, and then we just go on talking about Leibniz and Spinoza. She passes me a napkin between, various verses and quatrains of what's his name, Alighieri, Dante. He's like, thank you, honey. And we just go on with our lives, and then her belly starts sort of puffing a little bit. I'm like, we got a nice one on the way. Oh, it's a miracle. How did that happen? Oh, I don't know. One of those great conversations we were having. The point is I don't think people know how to have sex. I think you'd be better off inventing it by yourself. People you meet, if you meet a woman and she's like, oh, I know all about sex, and say, I don't know anything about sex. I tell women I don't know anything about sex. I've never had sex. Right? But they don't want to learn to have sex. That arouses them that I'm a virgin. I'm not really, but I've been raped and sexually assaulted and whatnot. But I'm not a virgin either. I was a born androgen because the best people are androgynous. Right? It's not a sexual orientation. It's something far deeper than that. The greatest men and women who ever lived the earth are androgynous. They're very rare. But they use the androgyny as synonymous with virginity or with sexual fluidity. It has nothing to do with sex or sexuality. It's something far deeper than that. It's of the spirit. It has nothing to do with sex. It's everything to do with the greatness of man, the future of all human peace, and the history of all human happiness on earth. The androgen is one of the most holy fucking things a human can be, right? And also restrained from sex with demons, right? Because the opposite sex is usually demonic in their capacity as a sexual, socialized person. So you keep away from that. But you're supposed to want her ass, her asshole, her breasts. Her lips are supposed to be red and puffy, the better to eat them. But she can also eat you, right? They're also puffy and red because as they giveth, right, out of her mouth or out of her pussy, so can they taketh away, right? The financial system gives you so much rope, and then it reels you in. So everything that a man does with a woman places him in her debt. right? Women have historically actually had economic advantage over men, right? They always do. Sexual and economic advantage. The system, that's why women get more aggressive and sexual when they're younger. It's not because they're more mature. It's because they're more advanced financial instruments. They're being socialized. And the socialization process favors the soul as a particularly female entity, right? Neutered, desexualized, but overly sexualized at the same time. Okay, perhaps we've been talking one attitude long enough. We've come to the beach access place where there's a big thing here that probably has a fountain in the summer. And I think that means we should change the subject. Look at this. I thought that was the moon and sun. Yeah, I'm tired myself out. I got a really good sleep last night though. Oh, my mom is in a glorious mood. We've got the couch for sale, which with her a few $100s, and then she can start trying to solve her unwanted storage fees and so on. And yeah, just hey chicka baby, ba boom, ba chicka baby. Hey chicka baby, ba boom, ba chicka baby. Hey chicka baby. Who's the best druid in the world? Well, you are, Dandy. Who's the greatest witch that ever lived and walked upon the earth? Well, you are, Dandy. Who's a lonely motherfucker who's never had sex? Well, you. Who's the loser who makes YouTube videos no one listens to? That's also you. And what does that all add up to? Absolutely fuck all. Well, let's stick to the positive things then. Sure. Hey, chicka baby boo. Chicka baby. It's just a life of thought, you know? What do you think people notice when they start really thinking and talking? Right? All sex is violent. People who are sexual are always violent people, right? Violence happens to them. They do violence to others. It's all a very violent thing. We'd never have sex with a woman. That's the most violent thing you could possibly do. If we were natural, you know, if we'd grown up away from the financial system, different, you know, totally would make a lot. Oh, okay, let's go this way. I'm surprised they don't have more garbage cans around here. Nobody likes emptying the garbage. I always liked when we first had computers. We had these these Macs. This is the first Macs that they had in the schools up here, and they had a thing called the garbage can, and you could put files in the garbage can, and it would get full. At that point, it would like to show you that there was something in it, you know. And you could put it in and take it out. It's like, oh, and it was never really dirty, you know. There was no orange peels or eggshells. It's like garbage, garb, and ash. So the fashion of torture is the garbage can, right? You are garbage when you have the fashion of the torture of the age, the ash. Garbage. Garb is fundamental human communication for the persistent and sustained chorus of joy that creates and sustains all the true heavens and the earth. By the phrase gar or gone, as in gone with the wind. And it's turned into something that's been robbed from you. It is gone. So the most important thing, gone, is gone. Right? And that's how they create the language, which is about torture. Right? On with the wind. Frankly, Scarlet, I don't give a damn. I always loved that. I never really saw that movie. I just like that part. I was like, I want to say that to him. It's like, well, frankly, Scott, I give a damn. Here's what I want. Boy, I had a good crap in the woods, man. I grabbed some moss. It is, without doubt, the best thing to wipe your ass with. My ass. It's always good if I can't feel it. You shouldn't be able to feel your own ass. Unless you use your hands. Of course, then you can feel it all you want. Of course, it's your asshole. You can feel it as much as you like. You can root around in there. Smell your fingers afterwards. It's like, wow, I'm alive. Alpha male I just passed. Wow, they're really something, eh? I'm not gay or anything, but an alpha male is worth their weight. Aren't they? They do stuff, they can chop wood. You must feel like a girl when they're around. It's like, oh, can you do things? Like hold down a job and fix your own truck? Can you use tools? It's like, it's amazing. You know how to make a fire? Oh, you smell good too. Can you just like work for me forever and then just buy me pretty things? Sure, man, but you sound kind of creepy. Oh, that's okay. I'm a woman trapped in a man's body. I know you, I love you, I need you. Anyway, alpha males are pretty safe to have around. Daunting if you're a cunt, but they're just truthful, strong, honest men. They're like closer to what a man should be, but with a lot of industrial compulsions, of course, because they have to work really hard and they take on a lot and they do a lot. And, they do it largely without complaint. Early, so, and women take them for everything. Their children often resent them, but if they stay strong, their children will always come back to the parent, the most decent parent they can find. But the thing is that they marry an indecent female. Kind of ruins him, right? They ruin them with the sex they have with them and the way they talk about them. A woman will spend her entire marriage just talking shit about the father of children and breaking him down because women are trained to be narcissists and sociopaths. And so a man find a woman, even though he needs one, it's a market who is decent, so he ends up settling for someone, and she's nice or good looking. Just start sucking them alive because that's what women do. It's what they're trained to do in life, no matter who they are. They're unfortunately quite pathological liars. They're closer patterned to the soul of the daemon of the financial system. Right? It's harder to find a female who's antisocial, anti-system, who isn't, even if she is, extremely, right? It's hard to find like a modest, truly self-reliant female who hasn't always already reproduced. So, and I'm 50 years old. It's very difficult. I'm like in the smallest demographic of dating. If there was a dating website, it would call nofuckingchanceonearth.com. Hi, I am swollen with anticipation to be in the presence of a decent woman. I am much beholden to, I'm sure. You know, I know when to fold them, I know when to hold them, I know when to walk away and come on. It's all about the fun, right? All about the fun. And being young, let me chase you, as in courtship, as though a mighty hunt. And when I find you, like Daphne and Apollo, you'll want to turn into a tree to avoid my giant swollen nose of a reindeer, leading Santa's sleigh all over the world. Because really, I favor the JJ. Please call me, hit me up, give me your deets, so I can stalk you properly. I don't get a lot of hits on dating. I find them hilarious though, because I know the women all use this junk. So I'll just tell the 50-year-old virgin, be gentle. You know, it's amazing. You get these ugly women looking at your profile. It's like, I think it's possible. They're basically looking for any weakness, right? Any vulnerability, any chink. And they assume you're a liar because they're liars. Okay, let's go to our favorite little sitting place. Talk, commiserate with each other, find the spirit, the intimacy of the ministrations of the spirit, which has survived all of the demonic nature of the world, and will find beautiful songs upon my lips, almost like my mother's vajayjay. New flesh from these sounds made flesh. And my little words go and fly away. Don't touch each other in that special way until the majority. It's amazing that you have to be a certain age to have sex with like 18 or 19 for statutory rape in Canada. So like you get a lot of older men fucking 19-year-old girls, just barely legal, right? Because they want it. The society is training young women to become very excited by older men. On top of which, these same women are extremely sexually aggressive. And one woman who stalked me for years, starting when she was 15 years old, they're convinced that they're older, they're more mature than people think. They're 15 and they're ready to have a relationship with a 50-year-old man, you know. These are all delusions they're living under. And her parents are teachers, of course, and they're all sexual predators. Right, they all are. You may not know why, that doesn't mean it's not true. Okay, let's do this thing. This is Landing's Forest. Nobody else comes here. Literally. Litany. Literally. Okay, I'm here. The UFO people told me to come here, and they said something special would be delivered unto me, and the Lord himself would come bound with the chariots of fire, and make my DNA have 12 and 13 strands. The 13th one, of course, would give me the power to evade the IRS in perpetuity. Where are you, people? Where are you? It's okay. I have to sing the song of the aliens first. Wait a second. The Song of the Alien People by me, Machismo Garula Menida Finito Menudo. Here it goes. Ole pepe 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 oh la papa papa ele pepe pepe ele pepe pepe. Okay, shh, wait. They're coming. I can feel it. It's like every psychiatrist I had has always told me I'm too smart for my work. Every child psychologist, every psychologist, every spiritual teacher, counselor, always too smart for my own good. It's amazing, right? Once they figure out, even begin to sense how smart I am, the time limit starts to run out. It's like a bomb that's just going to go off. Like they just, can't be around me. Once they start detecting my intelligence, they've started to basically lose their illusions about what and when they can get things from me. So they start to expedite their cannibalistic process, right? They start to become more aggressive. Right? So when I had psychiatrists very quickly, based on things I was telling them, like, what I was following the religion of the earth based on Neolithic literature and stuff, by young, and they quickly want to dissuade me from any and all of my intellectual interests. It can't possibly be good. It's predatory, and they just want to feed off of you, right? They're sexual predators, and every one of them is. If they have any notion that how intelligent I am, it's like I'm too intelligent. If someone's under the throes of a cult and you're not, you're basically always going to be more intelligent than them. That's A. But B, remember this, their stupidity is more advantageous to them than your intelligence is to you, depending on the court you're in. So if you're dealing with a police officer in the court of the financial world, which basically considers itself owning everything and everyone, right? Their stupidity is more effective than your intelligence. So it doesn't matter how smart you are. The smarter you are, the worse it is for when you're dealing with a police officer, a psychiatrist, or any sexual predator, right? It's the truth. You know this is the truth. You know this, right? You've got holes in your head that say, hey, this is right. You've got millions of senses in your blood going, this man tells the truth. What a wonderful day. And even if my mom got job, now at least she's aware of her own boundaries. They would basically have to offer money to her. Then she'll know what she's really worth. That would be a good experience for her. Let them pay a few $100s if they want her to sit their house, right? Hey, honey, I'm home. I love you, Steve. Lucille Ball is a cross-dressing actress, along with all the usually older actors. So, if you're out there and you're a crazy person and you're listening to me, you're like, what do you do if you think everybody in the world is sick? In every way connected to the financial systems of it. And pathological psychopaths, demons, vampires, zombies, the living dead, pathological liars, narcissists, actors, or somehow strangely victimized or alien abducted sorts of people who are star children and indigos and walk-ins and just industrial grade schizophrenics who are healthier than you are because they're more compatible with the various personality complexes and disorders of the financial system. Question: what did I just say? Repeat it back to me. If you want to know the answer, you better write that down. Right? Human mental illness is always related to the financial system. You notice that? It's very complicated. So, I mean, I'm just working on it, right? Your voice has to be free. I have to be able to talk. I have to be able to be irreverent and satirical and scare myself. to tell the truth. Where is this coming from? You would ask, like, where, if it weren't true, right? Where would I be? I'm intelligent enough to be like, what have you been reading? You know, like, what is this? Well, you start to put things together, you see, because all the religions are created by the same sort of alphabet and the same kinds of claims upon the human mind, and that of quantum physics and cosmology and ancient Hinduism are both using the same techniques to control you, right? And you find a way, like reading across various subjects, you start to truth will out. You might think like anything that really people think about gods or Jesus, because when you're stoned and on psilocybin, distressed, and something bad or something really good, people see Jesus or feel like Jesus or feel something pure and sacred about the idea of having a Lord and feeling like bowing down to them. Things of a vaguely sort of strangely noble and heavenly relationship with as those sacred, powerful, creative beings, connected to whom through basically the most pure, if vulnerable or life-changing existence. There's nothing wrong with that. Now think about the feelings underlying it. They're more important, right? That's more important in a sense how you project. And often you'll use religious terms because you've been denied to bow at your family tree, to bow to your mothers and fathers. Who are the people you should be bowing to? The people eaten up by and serving and still making it look easy while serving a cannibalistic financial system 1,000 years old in its claim upon all human flesh and blood. So the same people I'm calling your demonic mothers and fathers and the strange sexual, sociological, sociopathic, socialized ways we have of using each other are also really the best people underneath all of the shit, because they're being used. If they weren't giving up their time and energy, you would have to, or someone else would have to, right? Uncle Sam wants you. And the Chris mask covers up the Sam, which is the sun, right? The radical, the testicle, the ankle, the receptacle, the fanatical. There's a lot of culling in the masculine, right? The masculine, the sun, right? The mass, the Sam Cullen. Right? If I had a character in a strange fantasy novel, I'd call him Sam Cullen. And he'd meet a strangely exotic man named Kulpal Singh. Or Kulk Paul Singh. I am Kulk Paul Singh. I'm Sam Cullen. Well, I think we can work together. Yeah, so going back to female arousal, because I have time, I'm feeling good today, and I'm safe and I'm strong. So I want to talk about female arousal. Normally I have lots of other things to worry about, but today we're going to go and talk about female arousal. Sexual female arousal is not good for men, and it's not good for women. Right? Women get an erection in their brain chemistry. Just because they don't have an erect penis doesn't mean that they're not going bing sometimes when they see you. Right? Okay. And now let's just say that whenever that's happening, that we'll call it innocent. We'll say, they try to control it, but they can't. A young man seeing porn for the first time is probably going to get a boner, right? A woman in front of certain kinds of men or children gets excited and aroused, Remember, excited is a crossover word for aroused, right? People who work with children get excited for their job. You get excited to do this. You get excited to play video games. You get excited to watch porn. You get excited for things. It's a crossover term. Excited. It's a star. When you're excited, you leave yourself, your spirit, behind, right? The Hind, which is the sun. You get the sun behind me. When you're excited, it's usually related to leaving your parents. Getting excited is something that's drawing you away from yourself, away from your home, away from your nature. That's what excitement does, right? When you go to a pep rally, you're there to get excited. The pep rally once, and these young girls, and this, I want to say thank you to this young boy. And these young girls are doing their dance, and of course the young boys are all wanting to fuck them, looking at their skin and what their asses look like, what their panties look like, what their tits would be like if they didn't have their tight sweaters on as they're crawling all over each other, right? Getting all kinds of male, female attention probably. And women may be feeling bad about themselves because they're not getting this, or they're not confident enough economically, because popular women are always economically advantaged in some way, or will be, and they're more aggressive. It's a very obvious thing that people just, they don't think about. Like, the most popular people are always most economically advantaged, and they're almost, and they make aggression look easy. Whereas when you're aggressive, bad things happen. When they're aggressive, it's like just they're having a good time, right? It's like the skis and snowboards they use when they go to their really expensive ski retreats with their family and friends, right? You get it? I'm not saying go hurt them. I'm just saying it's no one can control who they are, whether they're popular or not. There's no control. The control is the financial system, right? Control is an illusion unless you own people at the level of royalty, right? It's like driving a car that's got a toy wheel, and you're not everything. I mean, the most decisions people make is probably where to drive their car, and even then, it's like they probably drive the same thing every day. Right? You get to decide like what kind of popcorn you're going to buy today, or what type of condom before you fuck the mother of your first child. These are the decisions left to the average working demon. So female arousal, right? So I was in this pep rally, as they call it, getting us all excited, and a young man, I didn't know who it was, said, "Show us your tits," right? And immediately a teacher snaps his fingers, points at him, you're going to leave, you're going to be suspended, right? That's, that you should have known that's not appropriate. So you're building these young people, this crowd, into such a peak of sexual arousal, which teachers are all sexual predators, but that because someone gave voice to how every boy in that fucking auditorium feels and put it into words, while these women